a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top. No, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, then I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Legendary Sports Podcast, Fantasy Football Edition. I'm Jared Michelson.
What up? What up? I'm Antoine Beeks.
Oh man, we're just gonna have a little freestyle Friday and just talk some general fantasy.
We
Man.
got
Let's
another
kinda
one.
See where the mind takes us.
We got another one.
Yeah. So, how you feeling about the mock drafts that we did? How you feeling about, the draft strategies that you've chosen for going receiver strong? What do you feel so far? We've done the ESPN and the Yahoo. And Fantasy Pro.
It's just the platforms are different. The platforms are very different. So it's hard to gauge. Also, it's hard when you don't know players or the people that's in those draft rooms can't really get a sense of like what they're thinking, where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is different, you know what I mean? Because we've done 3 different mock drafts with 3 different people, and the only thing that I could see coming is what you're doing.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly. You know my strategy, but
I
yeah.
know your strategy. Yep. And so oftentimes when you get into these leagues, where I'm in a league with you, 2 of them this year, right? I'm the new guy on the block in this league. I've been around for a while in other leagues. But when you kind of get the overall view of how these guys have been drafting year after year, what they look like when they're drafting, what they talk like during the season,
for sure,
things like that, you can kind of gauge on what's gonna be like.
Yeah.
So for me, I would say I'm still a wide receiver guy.
Cool.
Doing those drafts definitely helped me see it from your perspective. It's definitely a cool perspective.
I respect that. I'll take that. That's okay.
I like the running back strong.
Yep, and I respect your wide receiver strategy. I turned pretty well in that ESPN one with it. So
it works out. It works out both ways. And
both ways.
Yeah, you heard it come out that way.
I heard.
It works out both ways. Pretty strong. And I don't know. I'm still gonna be a wide receiver heavy guy.
No, it was good. I can definitely see I did struggle in some of the later rounds with some receivers, and there might have been some running backs where maybe I could have waited on. So it helped me open my eyes to some of the different to a perspective like that for wide receiver strong. So but that's only because Ramondre. Now I got a little more scared. That's only because of that. That's why.
Hey, you know what though, man? I mean, this is what this is for.
Yeah,
this is what this is for, because I would have never.
The market changes,
Not only does the market change, you just get a different insight from someone else.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to give this to the people.
For sure.
And you play fantasy, and everybody wants to keep their own secrets to themselves and keep who they're gonna draft to themselves. And
now all the people in the league that we're in, they're gonna know how we draft. They're just gonna take all our stuff.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. There's 1,000,001 ways to win fantasy football, and it doesn't have to be just the way that we said it, or if somebody takes what we have.
I agree. No, I'm for me, I definitely took a lot from that. It was definitely fun to have the mock drafts and go through the different perspectives from the analysts too, just to get our minds fresh and to see how everybody rates everybody. But to me, this is such a different year for so many of the last year's stats, because you're looking at the average age of the NFL teams, and the oldest team is the Las Vegas Raiders at 27 years, 5 months, 27 days, and it just drops from that. That's young. If that's the average player age on an NFL team, that means there's still a lot of development coming. There's still a lot of growth, but there's also a lot of kids that played each other already in college, right? Like they've played against each other, so they compete against some of this competition. It might be the best of the best, but a lot of these guys who've played in some of the bigger divisions have played some of the best of the best. So it's still a young league. It's still a lot of development. So that means on both sides of the ball.
I was just going to say that this year is the youngest I've ever seen the NFL. Mm-hmm. You got, we talked about the top 10 quarterbacks besides Aaron Rodgers. They're all young guys.
Yeah.
All of these big receivers, the Chris Olaves, the Devontae Smiths, the A.J. Browns.
They're still all very young.
Jeffersons, the Chases. These guys are all super young, star-studded wide receivers. let me not forget Garrett Wilson.
Yep.
You know,
yeah.
there's a lot of these
Yep.
guys.
And then young DBs, you know, with Sauce Gardner and stuff. These guys are still on the defensive side of the ball, still young. That means these young guys should be able to compete because it's similar competition than what they faced. A lot of those guys have played each other through the last 3 years of college. So I think if this is why I say it's a crazy transition because so many of the last year stats are, you know, thrown to the side and you know, barring injury, you know, where a backup may have to come play. But outside of that, no, it's crazy young. It's gonna be they're gonna develop together, which is cool. But now we're gonna get to see who really is the best of that best college era, you know, over the last 3 to 4 years.
That's true. That is very, very true. I'm excited to see what some of these quarterbacks come out and do, though, man. Some have been given that pedestal that they're on a rise, but I'm curious to see what the Tua Tagovailoas, the Trevor Lawrence,
For sure,
the Justin Herbert,
all so young.
You know, they produce great fantasy numbers.
Yeah.
Can they do it again? And not only can they do it again in winning fashion?
Yeah.
You know, Justin Herbert to me is one of those guys where I'm like, is he just gonna
Shout out to Jake's sports card, his Justin Herbert auto he pulled on his birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's gonna be. I mean, is it gonna be shout out to his sports card? Because is he gonna be
the guy?
The guy, or is he gonna be Dak Prescott?
Ooh.
Right?
Well, what's wrong with Dak?
Dak does a really good job in fantasy sports, man. He does a great job of fantasy sports. But also, when you're looking at fantasy sports, you also have to look at, are they winning? Especially from a quarterback's perspective, because the quarterback perspective, or looking at it from
winning, like
hey, you don't, but that
I need that garbage time. I need that garbage time point.
Listen, if he doesn't start to win, do you look to go elsewhere? Look at the Phillip Rivers and Drew Brees things, man, way back in the day. You know, he gotta start winning some games along with all those passing attempts and yards and stuff that he's doing. So I'm curious to know if he can do it again, and then put it with some winning. That's just my thing. Or does he be Dak Prescott? Dak Prescott's a great fantasy quarterback. That's it. Do you feel elsewise?
I don't care if they're. I mean, I don't know if they're just gonna switch so quick like that if they were losing. So, I don't really care. I like garbage time. And I think they're still gonna play the game. I think they're still gonna get the points and let them throw. If they're losing actual games, they're just gonna play it out. Go for a draft pick for one of the good quarterbacks in the next year and figure it out. But, no, I think it'll be good because it's Herbert. You know, if we're going back to just talking about Herbert, I think he's going to be. I mean, they're going to want him to keep growing and keep taking chances, keep taking shots because they have that trust that he'll learn from those opportunities. And I think he'll be okay. I think he'll go further than Dak. I think he can do better than Dak. Dak's great. I like Dak for fantasy. I like Dak as a regular quarterback too. I think he's a good quarterback. He's just got to stay healthy, so I hope he does. But I think Dak can put up some numbers with the weapons that he's got. I think he's had a good chance too and having Pollard being a good pass catching running back, yeah, and he's going to be able to get. He might be a sleeper quarterback actually. So
I don't think no one's sleeping on him, man. He's been a great quarterback over the last.
Yeah, but a lot of people worry about if he's going to be on the field, some of the inconsistency and some like the high games and the low games. Like I had him for a little bit. There's some 3-point games. I'm like.
What?
Yeah, it was not good for fans.
I'm not a big Cowboys fan, so
there were some harsh games. So I was like, there's some roller coaster with Dak where I think Herbert could show some more consistency. So
if we talking about consistency,
but Dak could be. I mean, if he is consistent, watch out because that man can. Man, he can play at levels, man.
He can light it up, man, for sure.
Dak can light it up.
So if we talking about consistency. Let's talk about one of the most consistent backs over the most recent years. The best back in my eyes in the NFL, Derrick Henry. How do you feel about Derrick Henry going into?
I still think he's going to tank. You know, I do always worry about where. It's just, you know, common amongst any analyst that wears a thing. But there are some people that just, even as a running back, will just last and last, and that's Derrick Henry. I think he's still a good pick at the back end of the first, top of the second. You know, that's perfectly fine. And I think he's going to still give you numbers. I don't know if there's enough in the offense to keep the box from being stacked against him, but I think as far as if DeAndre Hopkins and Tannehill can make some type of connection and get something out of the receivers, pull a little bit of that pressure away from the running game, he can have a good year. And he can catch. Maybe they just throw him the ball a little bit out of the backfield and let him take a screen to the house. He's done it plenty of times.
So even with that foot,
yeah, but he had the foot before, and I think he'll be fine for the season. He's gotten through it, and he played on his foot most of half of last year, I believe, too. So I think he'll be okay.
So with the foot, you think he's still fine?
Yeah,
I like that. I'm not against that. I love me some Derrick Henry. I said I think he's the best running back in the NFL. A lot of times they think about these 3-down backs who can catch the ball and who has top end speed and can do this and do that, juke moves and spin, and oh my God, he's so electrifying. I like D. Henry. Mm-hmm. Give him the ball. It's like a Mack truck coming. Just give him the ball and get out the way. And it's been like that with their offensive line. It's been middle of the road. I think they're going to be a little bit better this year up front. And like you said, if they can kind of find something with these outside guys, I don't understand why they let A.J. Brown go. But Kalen Burks and DeAndre
Kalen Burks just seems to become the guy. If they can do that and get on connection and have D-Hop there.
Yeah, it can kind of open up some stuff for him.
Yep.
So hopefully that happens, man. Hopefully that happens.
Yeah, Tannehill can go back to what was it, 2021 season Tannehill, where he had the most efficient season or something like that. He had a really good year because for his deep passes, he was on point. He didn't throw a lot, but it was he'd be 17 for 23 or 22 of 25, but some crazy accuracy. Go back to that Tannehill, and those guys will be okay, So, but we'll see.
That's true. So my next question leads, how do you feel about Josh Jacobs? Is it a fluke, or does he come back and lead the NFL again?
I don't know. The whole situation with Las Vegas, with the contract stuff and everything, and him just kind of hey man, I'm not going to show up for you guys. You're not going to pay me. Look what I did, type of thing. I don't know. That scares me a little bit, and that. Because it scares me if he doesn't figure that out, if he goes to another team or whatever the case may be, what happens then. But if he does go back to the Raiders, and I think they can still be a good team with Garoppolo running the helm, and Devontae Adams is still there, I think that they could do work and Jacobs could be a 10 touchdown guy, maybe 1,000 yards, 1,100, and call it a win, and maybe 400 on catches on something like that. But yeah, I think he could be a top 10 running back, maybe even top 5 by the end of the season.
I agree. It's just so sad to see how they play out running backs after him last year. They wore my guy out last year. And, they wear him out, and then they, and be like, well, we don't know if he has that much tread left. I mean, you gave him 340 attempts.
That's the DeMarco Murray thing, man. Wear him out and then just send them on their way and let them just.
And I don't like it. I mean, 1,600 yards last year, 12 TDs, 53 receptions. I think he's, with another year under what's the coach name from the Patriots that's there right now?
The Belichick?
No.
Oh, the offensive coach?
The coach for the Raiders right now.
Oh, Raiders. Sorry. Bill Belichick's disciple.
Yeah. Well, and another year under him.
Josh something, I think it is. What?
Josh something, yes. But
Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels. Another year under Josh McDaniels. Jimmy Garoppolo coming in, who plays the quarterback position very well.
Yeah, exactly. I slipped on. He takes the 49ers to the NFC Championship. 2 out of 3 years. It's the shit, man. He's not. Ooh, got a blurb. He's not garbage. That's Freestyle Fridays for you. We're letting him fly.
he's not too bad, man. Yep. I think him there, Devontae Adams, the offense, another year under Josh McDaniels, I think they take that another step, and I think that Josh Jacobs comes back with another great season. So, a very underrated.
I'm trying to see who's the other receivers over at the Raiders. Just kind of triggered in my brain, who else is even out there?
Hunter Renfrow.
Oh, that's right. Hunter's still out there. Okay.
Um,
Oh, and they brought in Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby
Oh,
Myers.
DeAndre Carter could be good. Keelan Cole was a thing for a little bit, but I'm trying to see who's supporting Jimmy out here to see if he's a viable quarterback, as a starter for the season, or definitely he is in a 2 QB league. But that was just kind of sidetracked on the Freestyle Friday to see who can be viable in these different formats. So
Hey, that's perfect. That's perfect. But another guy I wanted to talk to that's kind of slept on in the NFL world. I mean, just because the team he plays for is who? Running back.
Bijan Robinson.
Nick Chubb.
Oh,
Yeah, man, he's a very good back, man. I think he comes out and I think he does what he does again, man. I think he does it again.
he's getting let's say, would you say give him 1,500 total yards and what, maybe 13
plus touchdowns?
I would say 13 total between receiving and rushing.
Yeah.
You think you pull that off?
I think
That's a good. That's
I think
hey
that's
man,
him
that's
all
good for
the way.
me.
Um,
Give me some receptions in there. Give me like 40 receptions, and I will be plenty happy.
yeah, I'm not a big Nick Chubb fan, but he's been very
But if Elijah
steady.
Moore, can be healthy and get out there and do his thing, and be a good second weapon for the team, take some pressure off Chubb. Let Deshaun, and obviously it really counts on Deshaun Watson being something of when he was a star in Houston. So see if we can return to any of that for him. But if that's the case, then wow, that AFC North is going to be something to be fierce with. Deshaun Watson, when Joe Burrow gets healthy, Kenny Pickett if he can develop, and then Lamar Jackson. That's some fun out there in the AFC North. So we'll see.
So we talked a little bit about one of your guys from the San Francisco 49ers having an up year. With that being there with B. Ayuk,
I like him, man. So he's a part of my if I go running back hero strategy. I want him later. Okay. I'm good with that.
So with Brandon Ayuk, you think he's gonna be on the uptick? Christian McCaffrey, they still got George Kittle. What does that leave for Deebo Samuel?
Who needs him? Get him out. No, I was kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, but they're gonna. I mean, I know he doesn't want to be the running back anymore. He wants to be his receiver and everything. But that's where they're gonna have to use him. Gadgety tricks. He'll probably get his receptions are not gonna. I mean, maybe 75. If they let Trey Lance throw that much throughout the season, I don't think it's gonna be a 90 catch guy. I don't think that's gonna be.
Well, Trey Lance is not the starting quarterback.
Well, it could be Brock.
It is Brock.
Oh.
Insider information that it is Brock Purdy's job to lose. Kyle Shanahan says Brock Purdy has to just go out there and just melt. He said he has to come out and just because he just got back cleared to come back to fully practice just a couple of days ago, and they said you got a quarterback controversy here. Where's it go? And Kyle Shanahan said it's Brock Purdy's job to lose. Like he has to come out there.
He's the one that put on for them last year, so that's fair.
So it's not about Trey Lance. It's about Brock Purdy. I like Brock Purdy. I think he earned his spot.
Mm-hmm.
He did a very good job last year, but I don't know what that leaves for Deebo. I mean,
Brock Purdy, I think that makes me confident because if Brock Purdy's the guy and they have that kind of confidence and he's got the rapport with all those guys, I think that leaves a lot because they're going to trust him to throw more. They're going to trust that he knows how to run the offense because he ran the offense and ran the offense at high level competition in the playoffs.
No, they didn't make it to the Super Bowl, but in the playoffs. So here's this.
So I still think Deebo's of value. I think if he can go in like the 4th or 5th, I'm fine with that. That's cool. But if he's going in that 2nd, 3rd, I'll probably look elsewhere.
So here's the thing. Do you think Deebo is? He says he wants to be more of a wide receiver. They bring in Christian McCaffrey to run the gadgets. Do you think that if Deebo Samuel is a straight wide receiver, he's better than Brandon Ayuk?
No, because I like Ayuk's speed and route running. I think he's a more polished route runner at Ayuk. So able to kind of shake out the defender from the line, whether it's press, or whether he's playing off him. I think he's got more of that ability just as a raw, pure, talented route runner and great hands too.
Okay.
Why, you disagree? You feel like Debo would take over more? I think Debo will eat into Christian McCaffrey's runs a little bit, actually. I think that if anybody takes a little loss, it's Christian because they can use Debo in that way, and they have. So.
I don't know. I like Debo, but, he hasn't shown me anything as a wide receiver.
He has shown you some things as a wide receiver.
Man, so you got wide receivers. You got these top guys that you got even the guys like Cooper.
Yeah, the guys that are in a Swiss Army as him that can't.
But you got guys like Cooper Kupp who couldn't outrun my grandma taking people deep.
You hate that Cooper Kupp?
I've never seen Debo.
Hold on. I gotta figure out the Cooper Kupp hate that's going on here. I don't think.
Listen.
You need to apologize.
Listen. I've never seen Debo take anybody deep. I've never seen him take anybody deep. Now, I've seen him run away from some people. I've seen him catch a slant, go across. I don't see the route tree in his game. I don't see crazy hands. I don't see,
He had a 1,400-yard season.
Yeah, catching a screen and running away from people is what he does best.
That's what I'm saying. That's all he needs to be. You can go across the middle, take the short routes, get him in space, and let him take off. He's fast.
I'm just saying, if we just put him strictly wide receiver, no jet sweeps, no gadgets and gadget plays for him, that's all Christian McCaffrey. If we just put him straight receiver, what does he do? I don't see him being a 1,400-yard guy if he's just a straight up wide
but if he's my wide receiver 3-4, with 900 to 1,000 yards, maybe 6 touchdowns somewhere in there. I'm good with 1,000 yards on like 60 catches, 70 catches. Maybe be the guy that, again, catches a run for 50 yards. I don't think he can do that every week, but he can also take the top off people. He's not slow by any means.
He's not, but have you ever seen him take someone off the top? Have you ever seen him take the top?
Not as much as you would IU.
Have you ever seen him?
Not as much as IU, but yes, he can.
He
and go across the middle.
I don't know.
He definitely can.
I don't know if his hands is that great to take somebody.
You don't get to 1,400 yards with no hands.
Dude, how many screen passes has he had for like 40, 50?
That's perfect. You don't need to worry about his hands. That's even better. And that's more guaranteed catches. If I'm a PPR, you give me, again, 10 catches at the line of scrimmage for 7 yards, 17 points, man. That's fine.
I'm not a big fan of Debo. I think Debo takes a step back.
But I'm talking about at his value. If you're going in like the 5th round, somewhere in there, 4, 5, 6, that's not that bad of value. Tell me who else you were going to take in that area.
Someone who I don't think is going to have a great year as well, DJ Moore. I think
so you'd rather take DJ Moore than Deebo Samuel.
I think they're kind of a wash. I think they're
really,
yeah,
interesting. Because to me, if Fields steps up, I would lean DJ Moore.
Okay, so what did you just say? Say it again.
I would lean DJ Moore if Justin Fields steps up. So you don't think Justin Fields is going to?
I'm not saying he's not going to produce. As a fantasy guy, I would love to. Especially in a 2-quarterback league, I'm starting him. Especially in a 2-quarterback league, I'm starting him because the dude can run his butt off. We talk about Lamar Jackson,
but he can probably throw now. Like, he's looking better. A lot of reports say he looks better. So, and they're going to do a lot more short passes, right? So they're not going to just try to make him the big dog playmaker. Everything's got to be downfield. They're going to let him play the game of football. Slice and dice, be tactical, and that's great for people who are catch and run. The Deebo Samuels world, catch and run.
Hey, man, listen, you got to prove it to me. He's had how many years now? A couple, right? He's had a couple, and but
I took Jalen Hurts 3.
Man, we seen it coming from Jalen Hurts.
No, he had some rocky starts, man. He
did.
Yeah,
but he was.
No.
Hey, listen, he was throwing it though. He was throwing it, and he wasn't stopping.
And this is his 3rd year, so now you got to give Justin Fields the same 3rd-year presence. If Jalen Hurts got 3, Fields needs to get 3.
But Jalen Hurts, man, Jalen Hurts actually threw the ball. Jalen Hurts was throwing the ball, and we seen glimpses of him being great.
Also throwing interceptions.
Justin Fields couldn't throw interceptions because he wasn't even throwing it anywhere close to anybody.
What are you talking about? Yes, he still has improvement. I'm not lying, but you got to give him what I'm saying. If you give 3 years to one player, you got to give 3 years to the other player to prove it.
If you say so.
You can't give Fields a shorter time frame.
I'm not giving him a shorter time frame. It's just that I just don't believe what he's doing. I mean,
I think you'll get there, Fields. I think you'll get there.
Come on, man. 1,800 yards. That's not even half of what some of these guys are throwing.
How many games he play?
That's not even half, right?
How many games he play? How many games he actually play?
If we talk about, look at where Jalen Hurts in his second season, right? He throws 3,200 yards in his second season.
His offensive line's better too.
22. He outthrew him by a whole 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
And Justin Fields
better situation.
Oh,
better situation.
I don't want to hear that.
Better weapons.
Hey, as a quarterback, you need to uplift some stuff.
Better
sometimes.
coach.
Sometimes you better uplift some stuff.
But it doesn't start right away because he wasn't uplifting in Philly either. They weren't winning with Hurts at that time. So don't think he
was putting him in a better position to win than what he just did, though.
Yeah, but some people take that long length to develop. And it still took 3 years even for him to be the true guy, right?
So
to be the guy who takes him to the Super Bowl, right? It took him 3 years.
Okay, so let's
not gonna say that he's gonna give him Fields gonna give him to the Super Bowl, but there's also other pieces around that because Fields' offensive line is one of the worst.
Okay, so let's take this, right? Where do you think that Justin Fields will end up as far as yards, TDs, and
he's gonna throw for 3,400.
Do you think he's throwing 12? You think he's throwing 1,200 more yards than what he did last year?
I do. I think the talent is there now. I think he's got enough people to make it work.
Man, mark this. I need this marked.
Mark it.
3,400 yards.
Yep.
I'm willing to take a bet that he don't throw 3,400 yards.
Okay, let's do it.
Whatever you want to bet, I'm willing to bet that. Case of Propel, man. Case of Propel. I'm willing to bet a case of Propel water that he does not throw 3,400 yards. 34?
Yep.
God, man. At least Jalen Hurts in his second year threw 3,200 yards. He threw 32, and then the year after that, in his third season, he threw 37.
I got faith in the Chicago Bears wide receivers. I got faith in the offensive system. Yeah, I got faith in Fields.
Why'd you name Fields third?
That's not a list. It's not a list. I already named him prior to. We already know we're talking about Fields. I'm talking about the rest of the players that I have a faith that can help support him become the quarterback he needs. Khalil Herbert too. So if you just take some out of the backfield.
You wasn't too high on the Khalil Herbert train this a week ago.
No, I'm not saying I'm going to be like my number 2 running back. Like I don't know if I have that level of faith, but I think he can help out Fields from a This is more from a football perspective. I think he can help out Fields, passes out of the backfield, stuff like that. That's all get you to 3,200 yards. Even if your receivers do the work, that's perfect. I need Fields to throw for 5 and let the receivers do the rest. All I need is Herbert can throw it. Or Fields can throw it 5-10 yards. He hits that and let the receivers do the work. That's the bare minimum I need. But I think he'll be more aggressive.
So you think that Darnell Mooney, Dante Pettis, and Chase Claypool, along with DJ Moore, is gonna help?
I don't dislike Chase Claypool.
Or do you, where are you drafting Chase Claypool? 10, 11, 12?
Yeah, I would draft him towards the end, but doesn't mean I don't like him. I just think he's a sleeper pick.
You think he's a sleeper pick?
I think he provides some value.
Yeah.
Like a wide receiver 3 value, so that's fine.
I think he can provide some bench value. Maybe 500 yards. Maybe.
I mean, it's going to be one of those games where you have to pick the games, right? You got to be like, this is going to be the softest defense. Like if they're playing, I can't use Jacksonville's defense anymore. say the Falcons defense or something like that. Like I think they can do some damage over there. If you pick your matchups right, you got some bye weeks to fill in. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, okay, so that's a good segue to go into what do you think the NFL defense is gonna be like, and where's some of those top defense? Because
well, there's so much zone played that like, man, I think there's gonna be with the athleticism of these guys. I think they're gonna be able to, as long as they can learn how to find the open spots in the zone in their routes. I think that's a big concept they're gonna have to grasp because a lot of the wide receivers and stuff are young. But if they can grasp that concept early, I think there could be a lot of damage done by a lot of people you probably wouldn't be able to expect on the roster. You know, so
that's fair. I'm still looking at that. A lot of the teams that I think that have great offense or great defenses don't have, great offenses.
Yeah, but again, we're talking young defenses, man. These guys are still figuring out their way and how to find their spots and understand the changes in audibles and coverage. So I think there's gonna be a lot of miscommunication. I think there's gonna be a lot of just like pure football mistakes, right? So that may help some of these guys who are young on the offense take advantage of that if they can learn and then be able to really ball out for young receivers. Chris Olave or better year, for some of these young guys. So, especially with how high talent some of these guys like Zay Flowers are, and then the gentleman for the Vikings too. So and Jason for the Seattle.
So back to boomer bust players.
Bust. So bust to be given ADP. It's gonna be Ramondre Stevenson, my guy. He's got to go down to like the 4th or 5th round, or something like that, because I pushed not even an extra round just because that Zeke thing does hurt, right? It does. I hate to say it. But it does hurt. So he's gonna be someone that if you draft him in the 2nd or 3rd, that probably a good bust candidate.
One for me, and I love this guy, man. He's been one of my favorite backs in the league since started playing fantasy about 6 years ago. Aaron Jones. With the loss of Aaron Rodgers, what he typically turns out to be a 2nd or 3rd round pick, just because of him being able to catch out the backfield, run the ball, and stuff like that. I think they kind of moved towards A.J. Dillon, running the ball a little bit more than Aaron Jones. And I don't see Aaron Rodgers there to be able to get him the ball like he used to. Screen passes, short dump offs, understanding the reads, going through his reads and progressions very quickly, and being able to find Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones drops to about a 5th or 6th round pick now without Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I can see that. Even at that, without knowing, like you said, how that Packers offense is really going to be or look like it's iffy for me. I don't draft a lot of Aaron Jones usually anyway, so I just don't always have confidence in that situation with A.J. Dillon there eating a lot of the work too, and A.J. Dillon can eat up touchdowns at the goal line. So when you have a player like that can also, be a 3-down player, there's some series even that Aaron Jones might be even taken out of, right? So that work gets cut down. So yeah, I agree with you. I think if you draft him at the 3rd, even at the 4th, you're really you better off drafting his counterpart later in like the 7th or 8th, and come a lot closer.
Yeah.
By the end of the season.
So,
with a worse offense, like you said.
Yeah, with the worse offense. Another guy that a lot of people was kind of high on last year, leaving, finding himself a new home, but has kind of found himself demoted as DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting because they use a committee in Philly, so it's already slim pickings for the work, and then he's more of the receiving back of the 3 players that are using rotation with Kenneth Gainwell being there, and I think Boston Scott's still there too.
Rashad Penny.
Oh, and Penny. Oh my goodness, just like that work's gonna be eaten into, and so for where he's being drafted, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, be mindful of drafting DeAndre Swift. Doesn't look too good for him.
Yep, that's crazy.
So,
wow.
Another guy, man, that I'm just not so high on. A lot of people are. I don't see him going in the first round this year. Maybe the triple crown champ.
Oh yeah, Cup.
Excuse me. Yeah. I feel like
Hating on Cup. I don't understand you.
You know what, man? I'm not hating. I just don't understand
Cup.
where they went wrong. I mean, I understand where they went wrong. They put all their eggs in one basket and they won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And then ever since then, it's just like.
But Cup was on a pace before he got hurt last year. I mean, he was just shredding nobody could cover Cup last year until he got hurt.
Yeah, and they thought
he was putting up. I had him in a standard league, and he was putting up more than my running backs, and almost as much as my quarterbacks in that league. Like, it was crazy.
So you think he comes out and does the same thing?
If Stafford, there's a huge if of Stafford being healthy, but I'm going to play it as they're going to be just fine. And yes,
I don't know, man. I think that he takes a step back. They don't have nobody. Allen Robinson was supposed to be.
He's top 10 by the end of the season. If he plays all season, he's top 10.
10?
Yeah.
He's 10.
No, he could be higher than 10, but he's for sure top 10. Nope, I don't think it'll be any less than that. Put my stamp on it. Wow.
10. If anything, I give him 10. I mean, the offense is just poor. It's a poor offense. Tutu Atwell
was a poor offense last year, and he still got the work he needed.
Cam Akers, what is he?
If it wasn't for his Stafford injury, then bringing in Baker or his injury first and Stafford, there would have been so different because they were still a connection. There was it's Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp, and there's nobody else in the world, man. I'm telling you,
man. I don't like Cooper Kupp, man. I don't like.
I'm very lovey this game. Or this episode. I'm very I'm positive on these guys.
I'm not too positive for Cooper Kupp, man.
Sorry, Cooper. Sorry.
You give me one. Who do you think? Who you got on the bus list?
I think where he's drafted, if there's some doubt Joe Burrow playing early, or if there's any slowness of Joe Burrow when he comes back, and then the issue is Jamar Chase at number 2, 2-3. I think he'll end up being more of 8 or 9 in the first, or maybe even the back end if he doesn't have the guy there healthy and well to throw him the ball. So that's a little iffy. But barring no injury, he could easily be number 2 or 1. But I think that could be a possible setback and be a little bit of a bust from there. I would rather probably pick, for sure McCaffrey probably at 2, and then. It's hard to say if Bijan would be there because he's not a bad offense, but it's maybe.
You don't like Trevor Siemian throwing to Jamar Chase? I think Trevor Siemian is a decent quarterback.
Yeah, decent, but that's gonna really pull him down from the second round value. If Trevor Siemian is a quarterback for the first 4 games,
I think Joey B is back week 1. I think he's back week 1.
I feel better about it. I just hope that he's game ready from that time. If they're going to hold him out throughout the preseason for him to get better, what's that game condition going to be like for the first couple of games? So
I mean, you can't simulate game. You've played sports. I've played sports. There's nothing that can simulate game situation or game speed or game like anything except for game like.
Right. So that's what I'm saying is I don't know if he'll be ready for game like, but if when he gets back there, so. I'm timing a little bit off, things like that.
I'm just very thankful that he escaped major
for sure
injury.
That I agree. And I love Joey B, and once that he's fully healthy and ready, game wise, like when his true self is there, it's gonna be Jamar Chase as from that time on, top 3, right, for receivers. Like it's Cook season. So
hey guys, don't sleep on T. Higgins either.
Yeah,
that's a guy that I would be looking for to aim for about the 4th or 5th, 4th round. I'm not even gonna say 5th. I might even be looking to try and get parts
And
with them in the third round.
Yep.
You know, just depending on how you big your team.
Yep.
I think he could go to a lot of teams and be a number one guy.
Oh yeah, he's a beast. He was drafted to be a number one guy. Then another number one guy fell to them. So it's just like, well, why not get 2 number one guys and be like, start cooking? So
TJ Houshmandzadeh and Chad Ochocinco all over again.
Yeah, it is.
You know, do not sleep on T. Higgins.
Yep.
Do not sleep on T. Higgins.
Even Boyd, you know, I mean, he won't have the volume, but you know, if any of those guys go down, you better be swooping for Boyd for sure, because man, he was a talented receiver before they even got there, and then there's too much talent they were able to draft and find, and he just gets kind of lost in the mix. But give him a second spot on there, and he could cook. So
yeah,
still young.
So, with T. Higgins, 74 receptions back-to-back years, 1,100 yards, 6 TDs and 7 TDs, in the last 2 seasons. And that's with Jamar Chase. And with Jamar Chase having that monster, insane rookie year.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
He's averaged, 84 receptions. 84 receptions. 1,200 yards in both seasons. 13 TDs his rookie season and 9 his last season. So, I mean, T. Higgins isn't far off, man. He's not far off. He's about 1,000 yards, or not 1,000, 100 yards short, and a couple TDs short. But
another bust candidate for me, if you go in the second round, is James Conner.
Oh Lord, it's crazy how things. You ever seen Stephen A. when he be like, "This is fluid. It's fluid." When he changes it, it's fluid. Last week he had this person, and this week you were just so big on James Conner. What happened? Why is he now a bust in your eyes?
Because I don't know about that offense. I like the workload, and he's someone that if he goes in the 4th or 5th, I'm cool with it. But I'm talking as a second, third round pick. That's too high. I don't think I've ever valued him that high. But I did like him as a second or third RB, but not as if I'm going to draft him at the 2. Like, you need to be like almost my number 1 guy if that's the case. And I don't think he has that because of the offense. Not that I don't like him. He's just going to bust compared to that ADP position, which is what you mean by bust, right? Where you're being drafted. If he was drafted in the 11th, I think James Conner's a rock star. Let
me get James Conner in the 11th round.
Give me that. I'll take that.
I don't think he's making it to the 11th round.
No, but I'm saying, that would flip the script. Like, you'd be like, oh, James Conner's the GOAT because of fantasy, because he's an 11th round pick, gets you RB3 numbers. That's crazy.
So I don't necessarily know what type of numbers he put up either. I don't know how well that offense.
He had 2 good games last year, but my thing was like I just don't know what it's gonna look like. I don't know the condition of Kyler Murray. I don't know what that's gonna play out to be either. So if he's sluggish again, coming off an injury, gonna be sluggish early on. Like, if that starts sputtering early, when does that become Denver? When does that situation collapse where they're so bad to some of the points that you made that they can't even produce on the offense, right? So that's part of the worry for any Cardinal. And I like Rondale Moore. I need him to turn up. I want him to turn up. I like Marquise Brown too, but if they can't put it together and collect from last year, so some real football, stuff to this, like, there's not gonna be anything there. It's gonna be a fantasy wasteland. So, from that perspective,
that's true. Well, I tell you one thing that I'll give you a group of guys that's gonna be bust, and that is the New York Giants wide receiver room.
Sterling Shepard's never gonna make it on the field. Oh man, he's never gonna make it.
Man,
I
feel
bad for me.
So bad for the guy.
We could have probably had a really good talent if he didn't get injured, and I feel bad for all his injuries because he is. When he was on the field, he's a monster though.
Yeah.
So.
Darius Slayton kind of had his ups and downs throughout his career. I don't see him doing much of anything.
Yeah. Who's it? Not Kadarius Toney. Wardell Robinson. That's the other one, right? He's still there.
Yeah.
Yep. He's supposed to be the guy, though.
Paris Campbell was drafted to the Colts, and Paris Campbell was supposed to be the guy, and now he's been bouncing around trying to find a home.
Yep.
I don't like any of the New York Giants guys. Not even Darren Waller, man. Not even Darren Waller.
If Darren Waller's in like the 6th round, though, you can be mad at drafting him.
Yes.
So what other 6th round tight end are you trying to find there? Who else are you thinking?
I don't know.
Who you wouldn't consider a bust?
Who I wouldn't consider? What's your boy from Pittsburgh?
Mark Andrews? Oh no, I'm sorry.
Pat Fairmouth.
Pat Fairmouth. Yeah. Thinking Baltimore, AFC North.
Fairmouth. Maybe Njoku. Yeah, maybe Njoku.
You think Njoku's gonna get that work with Elijah Moore and Amari Cooper there?
Yeah.
He probably could, yeah. He's talented enough. I mean, I'm not saying that's not. He's got the best quarterback he's probably been able to have in any season that he's ever played, so maybe. I guess I'll give you that. I'll give you Njoku as a possibility in the 6th round. But if there's someone there like Mike Williams or not Sky Moore, I want to take him later. Oh, George Pickens or something like that. We're
talking about tight ends.
Well, no, we're talking about in the 6th round. I was just talking about the 6th round period. Like, because there's people. If there's people like that who are available there in the 6th round, I would take them over both of those tight ends. Is my point. Okay. I'd rather wait for a tight end at that point because I don't think that 5 minutes is going to be that much different between somebody I pick in the 6th and somebody I pick in the 9th. Like Cole Kmet or somebody like that. I don't think that's going to be that different. So I would just push both of them out and go with a receiver of that caliber.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Pickens or something like that. Deontay, whoever's there at that time. So
that's fair.
This is still early enough.
Man, I hate to say this, man, but another group of guys that I'm off of is the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons group, I like Mac Hollins and Drake London, but
that's pretty cool.
I don't think that they have the quarterback stature to go there. Another one I'm thinking of, man.
Yeah, he's young. I mean, we're still figuring it out. So and he can get a lot of opportunity. I mean, he got some towards the end of the season last year when they benched Mariota. Check out that docuseries with the quarterbacks. Really good story on him for that. But I think that if he can just Rare can step up a little bit, give them a little bit of love, they can be okay. But I don't think either one of them are going to be more than your wide receiver 3 on that team. So between Matt Collins or Drake London, if Ritter gets it together.
Well, just two more busts for me is the whole Houston Texans wide receiver room. Robert Woods, Nico Collins. Yeah. Robert Woods was really good with the Rams. He ain't been the same since. Nico Collins got to show me something. And then the last but not least, I'm not so sold on the Tennessee Titans wide receiver room either. Traylon Burks has to show me something.
What's your hate on D-Hop?
I like D-Hop, but I don't like Tannehill. So,
but if he goes back to that 2021 season or whatever.
But if.
Yeah, I know, there is the if. It is.
So, I mean, this is that.
What if Will Levis is that guy, though?
We'll save that for next time. I don't think Will Levis is the guy. Yeah, I think Malik Willis will be the guy. But, guys, that's just some inside stuff from us.
Yeah, Freestyle Friday for this one, man. Just having some fun with it.
Just having some fun.
Free flowing our thoughts for fantasy football.
So, if you guys missed that, just really quick, it is the Tennessee Titans wide receiver room, the Houston Texans wide receiver room, the Atlanta Falcons wide receiver room, the New York Giants wide receiver room, and the New York Giants wide receiver room. That's where I was at with it.
You said them twice, they're so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's it for us today, guys.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching once again. I'm Antoine Beeks.
I'm Jared Michelson.
You guys can find us on Instagram, Legendary_Sports Podcast, and that is it for us.
Later.
Peace.